YouTube channel. I am here with my co-host Candy Nelson and guest host Eric the Watcher. Where you haven't had Eric on before, he's going to be chatting with us this evening. We are bringing to you topics regarding alien abductions and all sorts of other supernatural, sci-fi type weird things that are going on in today's world.
Yeah.
Right?
Angels and
demons.
demons. Hey, angels and demons, because I mean, there's angels there too. So,
Heck yeah, there are. Eric, how are you?
Doing good.
I know everyone
having
knows
fun
Candy and I, and we're typically here. And I think that's what you had asked me at one time, how many people we have typically watching. That's where we left off at one point. So we usually get quite a few. I'm just going to leave it at that. And then people that watch later, because you can go back and rewatch, obviously.
Well, I'm having fun talking to you guys offline. So now that we start the
a little more relaxed and good to go.
Yeah. Well, so I'll explain my name. So it's Eric the Watcher, as in like when Jesus said, watch, as in like, oh, am I the only one on right now?
Yeah, I put you up here
okay.
on the platform.
This is my first time using Restream, but
yeah, I'm sorry.
So the Watcher, as in like someone up on a wall, like watching for attacks on the city, right?
Exactly, that makes sense. And there are a lot of people with the Watcher names out there, and it's funny that you say that because that was one of the first things that came to my mind when I started experiencing a lot of this. So it kind of feels that way as well.
Yep.
So,
yep. We see stuff, and we try shouting down to the townsfolk like, "Hey, warning, it's coming!" But only a few percentage of small percentage actually heed the message, heed the warnings.
Yeah. I feel like Chicken Little a lot of times. It's like, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. Nobody's listening.
That's a good way to put that. Yeah.
Right.
So what brought you into your awakening, Eric? I mean, you said you've been going through this probably as long as Candy has. I think Candy's like 20-year veteran here, but yours was pretty early on, correct?
Yeah, and that's actually why I like to ask someone like, kind of like, when did you wake up or whatever, because everyone's on a journey. There's no like, I'm awake. You're not like, it's not like a Boolean thing where it's like, now you're awake or no you aren't. It's you've woken up, and how far along the journey are you? How long have you been following the Good Shepherd along from green pasture to green pasture to green pasture, as you conquer this bit of information and then the next and then the next. So me, I woke up in 2007, and for me, the thing that was the trigger was Tesla. So I'm a software engineer and just a general like science thinking kind of guy. And so when I encountered the work of Nikola Tesla and realized that I wasn't taught any of this in school, and yet it's this massively important work that he did that basically created our entire modern world, and all these electronics and radios and cell phones and everything. It's all based on his patents and principles. I was like, something's going on if I wasn't taught about him, so I went down the road of discovering, there's all these free energy devices, and it's like, what, and so that was my moments of waking up back in about 2007. And since then, I mean, that's when I went feet down full on into the rabbit hole, which ended up being a rabbit hole of rabbit holes, just from one topic to a next, to a next, to a next. And I've never stopped, being led by the Spirit, as a Christian might say, and just happily, learning one topic at a time. It seems like whenever I fully, get my mind around some new area, then there's like a short break, and then it's like, oh my God, a whole new thing I had no idea about that I get to have a lot of fun with and learn and conquer that area. And I might be on that topic now for a year or two, from legal law stuff to Bible prophecy stuff to sciencey stuff, flat earth, all the things that come in our way during our journey. Yeah. So 2007. So been awake pretty long time.
And you weren't very old. I mean, what, you were in your early 20s, teens?
Yeah, I'm born in 81. So that was, I think it was about 20.
You were an early bird for sure.
27, something like that.
Yeah. Candy,
Wow.
how old were you when you became aware and started? Oh, I know early on you were experiencing a lot of the paranormal, supernatural type, but you weren't very old either, were you?
No, and my story is quite different. I think I told you before about my father. Learned that he could go to college. Well, by the time he realized he had, money from the government to go to college because he was in the Navy, he was like in his late 20s. And that's when I was telling you, all the other people were like right out of high school. And so he came home telling us that they were teaching about the New World Order in college. And, he's
Wow.
telling us about all the stuff that they were teaching them. And he didn't, he wasn't with it. And so he was like one of the first conspiracy theorists out there, you know what I mean? And it's like, because there was no social media, he's running around trying to tell everybody. And, they locked him up and everybody laughed at him, made fun of him and called him all kinds of names. And, so he taught us about all of this when we were kids. I think I was as young as like 9 years old when he started teaching us.
Wow.
Again, we all was like, okay, he's just a whack job. And so we chose to ignore his warnings, and then the abuse started, not long after that, the sexual abuse and the physical abuse and things like that. And they were teaching about those things too in college. Incest. They were teaching them that. And he come home and it's like it was just crazy. And so, but he come home telling us about all the stuff that they were teaching him, made us read and learn about the things. And I told you about the one time that he had some pornographic movie with like a black couple and a white couple together. There was, 4 people and they're all having sex and, just ejaculating everywhere. And,
So,
yeah. And he made me and my
ejecting the
brother.
tape. We meant ejecting the tape.
I'm sorry. But
No,
anyway.
no.
But
I mean, I know totally. Like, I get it, but I was like YouTube.
Well,
movie
no,
tales.
but he made me and my brother watch that movie,
Oh my
and
God.
so it's just like just got so twisted, and so anything he said at that point, I had so much resentment for him that I chose to like block it all. Like, no, he's just crazy. He's just crazy. Well, then as time went on, I was always having visions and things like that from a very young age, and experienced a lot of supernatural things, but I didn't really start waking up again. It's like a reawakening, I guess is what you want to call it, until I had that vision about September 11th. And so after that happened, then it was like, then everything just kind of like, all kinds of things started happening then. And I'm like, oh my gosh, now my dad was right all along, you know what I mean? And trying to like,
when did you have that
time.
vision?
It was probably like 8 months before September 11th. I was actually had where I saw 2 big black holes in the sky. I could see tunnels and rocks. I could hear people screaming and crying.
Wow.
And I had no idea what it was about. I just saw these 2 big black holes in the sky. But again, I knew it was like, it was going to be bad. And that was like months prior to, day after day after day. And I was wide awake in the daytime.
That's interesting. You say 2 black holes because of the whole directed energy weapons theory,
Well, and the 2 twin towers, I kept seeing these 2 big black holes in the sky, and I could hear, like I said, people screaming and crying. I saw rocks and tunnels, and I didn't understand. I'm like, is this, God, what are you trying to tell me? What vision is this? Because I'd had visions all my life, but that one was like, I'm like, and my father had taught us about wormholes and black holes. And, I was like, okay, is there like a demon going to come through there? Or is it a black hole that's going to suck everybody up? I just had no idea what what it meant until the day after the towers collapsed and all that happened. And then I started questioning everything. I'm like, why would I get a vision like that? I didn't know anybody in any of the planes or no, why? And I was I was
Bizarre.
like, okay, yeah, it was really bizarre. And I just was so tore up and emotional about it. And, I was like, what was I supposed to do with that? It's not like I could tell anybody or report it to anybody because, they think I was going to be crazy. And then, so
The way
it
the
took
whole
me.
world thinks these days,
No,
when-
you said your
Sorry?
dad was learning a lot of this stuff at a college. Was this some kind of special military college or just something
No, it was the
regular
junior
school?
college and the University of North
Wow.
Florida. And
Wow.
here's the thing I mentioned a lot because my dad was older. Okay. The younger group, which you're talking about, let's see, talking about in the early 1970s. Okay. They would have been like the 18 and the 20-year-olds. Okay. If you think back now, so you're talking about in the 70s. This is 2023. You're talking about 50 years ago. They were already 20. That would make them between the 60 and 80 at this point. So guess who's sitting in Congress and who's the president and who's all the age groups is what I'm talking about. So what I'm saying is they were trying to see who was going to comply and who was going to go along with all of this. My father did not. It messed him up big time mentally. But I'm just saying, if you think about, they were 20 then, they would be like in their 60s, 70s now. Who else holding those seats in Congress and the Senate,
Yeah.
and the president? They're that age. And so they were teaching them at that time. And like I said, they were teaching them about incest and pedophilia and
that seems to be a thing that goes along with the
Yeah.
elitist type.
And
Yeah.
it's interesting you're talking about this certain generation. It's almost like a wave that hit our Earth at a certain time of these, like, this evil influence.
Yes.
And think back to also like the movies and music and TV that came around at the time of the early 80s and late 70s, etc. People talk about how, the glory days of like 80s music, basically like all of pop music like peaked in the 80s. It really seemed like it was like a flood of demonic influence that hit Earth around that time.
Yeah.
And also that's interesting. Kind of makes me think of Bill Cooper when you're talking about your dad in the Navy. And do you guys know about Bill Cooper, William Cooper?
I do not, but I've heard someone else bring that name up once again. You've named two names now.
Well, no, I told you. Remember when I was telling you that my mother, her maiden name was Cooper.
Oh, that's
And
right.
so remember when I was telling you, it's like she was that name when he said that. I don't remember.
You're the one
what
that brought. Yes, that's right.
Yeah, but I don't know
Bill
all the
Cooper
details of.
he's definitely worth a deep dive. He's got many talks he did that were recorded, like I think mostly through the 90s. So like a lot of VHS stuff, but it's still it's watchable. And it was on YouTube a lot, but of course a lot of that has been purged. So you've got to head over to other places to listen. But yeah, definitely worth a deep dive. Should I, hey Lisa,
Yeah, we
and
want to
Candy,
hear about your experience, I think.
yeah, should I talk about my alien abduction?
I would like to hear again, and Candy needs to hear, and I know a lot of our listeners and viewers would definitely be interested in hearing that.
This is just the weirdest thing happened to me. I guess it wasn't just like a single moment, like a single night. There was a couple like lesser strange things that led up to that one night. So it was between late 2011. I was in Palo Alto. I had just moved out to Silicon Valley for a job. Got an apartment there, and I think I was only there for 6 months. During that time, it happened 2 or 3 nights where I woke up with a very strange feeling, and it turns out, well, the feeling was because I think it was every time it was my left leg was, it was like someone grabbed my left leg and was like holding it in the air like 3 or 4 feet. So it's like my torso, you know, was starting to like come up. So I woke up, of course, because this is a very strange thing. This is a very strange thing.
Something going on.
Yeah. And so I woke up, maybe it was 3 times, but it was definitely at least 2 times that this happened in the span of 6 months. And I would wake up and just like get real afraid of like, and really just confused and kind of like jerk my leg down. And then that was it, you know, but I'm left thinking like, okay, you know, at this time in my life, I'm well aware of demons, angels, aliens, all the, you know, all the things that people talk about. And I'm thinking like, what is this? Is this a good entity, bad, benign, whatever? I have no idea. So after I left Palo Alto for this company, I moved down to LA, down to North Hollywood, and I got a apartment that was on the top level of a building there in North Hollywood. And I was having a lot of trouble sleeping because there was tons of windows in that place. And so my wife at the time got me a eye mask to help me just not wake up throughout the night, because you know, LA is just light all the time. And I, as soon as she gave that to me, I actually joked and said, oh great, like I'm gonna be blinded now, they're gonna like get me for sure, because they're gonna see that I'm you know, my defenses are down, they can just take me whatever and I'm not gonna see anything, right? So you know, maybe that was this is now a self-fulfilling prophecy what happened, or you know, that was but it turns out that actually happened. That's what happened. So here's the very strange thing. Now I've never heard anyone else say anything like this. Like exactly what happened to me is I put on the eye mask that night, went straight to sleep. And the next thing I know, it's like 2 or 3 a.m. and I fall on my back onto my bed, like flat down.
Wow.
And you know, I actually legit thud, and I wake up like right when I thudded onto my bed. And I had one of those foam mattresses, and it had like started going bad, so it was like pretty hard actually. So the fall and thud like totally jerked me awake. And
you would know it.
yeah, and I'm not like I don't like twist and turn, I don't snore, I'm a conscious turner at night. So anything that is me moving around, it's not normal. Okay. So I get dropped onto the bed from I don't know how high, 3, 4, 5 feet, and wake up, and I still have the eye mask on, and I'm so worried, confused, whatever about what happened, that I actually have all these thoughts go through my mind of like, am I being abducted? Should I play dead, play asleep? And that's what I actually did. I played asleep and just like kind of sat there with the eye mask on, thinking like, what's going on? And then I realized my left arm was had you know, drooped off the side of the bed. And then I got real worried, because if you're looking at the bed from the foot, I slept on the left. And if you're on your back, your right arm is the one that's fallen off the side. So I'm thinking like, this isn't even possible. I'm not in the same place I went to sleep in. And then so I took the eye mask off. I looked around and I'm like, I am on my bed. I'm in the bedroom, but I'm backwards. My head was down by the feet area of the bed.
Wow.
And so that's why my left arm could fall off, because I was simply reversed. And I had fallen on top of the covers, and my feet were over and like almost on top of my pillow, which was under the covers. So it's as if I was like
Flipped around too.
it's as if I was like transported through my blankets or something, like through them and out.
So like
And
your spiritual type soul being, right?
Well, I had a similar experience to exactly almost what you're talking about. So it's kind of strange that I'm sitting here listening to you and I'm like, oh,
okay,
what happened to me?
yeah, let me finish up, and then
Yeah.
let's see how much you can confirm with your story. So I wake up, but obviously I'm like tingling with fear at this point because I did not sleep, walk, jump, plank, fall. Like I did not do that. Like someone did that to me. So I wake up, I'm tingling with fear. I get under the covers and I just totally put the blanket over my head. I'm like, I tried to fall
Not a
asleep.
time or two.
Yeah. And then throughout the next day, I noticed, I don't know how I noticed at first. It was maybe in my armpits or so we've got this glandular system. There's glands that are like, they go from your, like your armpits down your like chest, down like your side and into your groin area. Yeah. The lymph system. And I had them inflamed, I think in the armpits primarily, and mostly around the groin area, like on the side of my legs, uppermost part of your legs.
Yep.
And I was afraid because I didn't even know like there were glands there. Like, I had never had these things inflame. Yeah, I had never had anything like that inflame. I think once or twice in like the armpit or something like that, but never down in the groin, never like that. I'm like, what is this massive like hardened things down there? I got so, and then I looked it up and it's like, oh, those are lymph nodes, glands, whatever. So that within 24 hours, I had all these inflamed glands. And also coinciding with that, I noticed a really hard spot that was like getting more and more red on my left thigh. And I'm feeling it right now with my finger. It's still there. I'm theorizing that this is one of the classic alien implants. And I mean, it's pretty benign. I mean, if I like scratch at it and whatever, it might get more red, but it doesn't hurt. It's just there. Coincidentally, my sister, who is also, in shorts, I'll just say very intuitive like me. She has had very strange things happen as well in the middle of the night. Maybe that's a time for another day is getting my sister on here, getting her stories.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But yes, she's the same kind of attractor of interesting things, I'll say, that I am. And she has on her left thigh within just a couple inches, the same thing.
Wow.
So, oh, and then also my mom has had happen to her at least twice, where she has woken up and she was floating, and she had to like shake herself down and fell back down to the bed.
Yeah.
So this is not just like a one-time thing, just only happened to me. It's like somehow in my family. We're not like tormented by it. This doesn't happen all the time. This only happened to me back in 2011 to 12, something like that. Although maybe it happens constantly and I just don't know.
Right?
Maybe
that is insane.
Yeah.
Candy, is yours similar to that?
Yeah, actually, and I wanted to say something real quick when I was talking about the 20-year-olds in college.
Sorry.
And then my dad being like in his late 20s or early 30s. What I was trying to say, I couldn't get it out. They were looking for recruits. So they were recruiting these kids right out of high school,
I
18,
see.
20-year-old. So that's what I was trying to say. I couldn't find the right word, but that's what they were doing. They were looking for the ones that was going to go along with all this.
Totally makes sense.
Yeah. So anyway, that being said, but yeah, when he's talking about, remember when I told you about the night that I was, my aunt had custody of me. I was laying in the bed. It was storming outside. I'm laying in my bed and I started praying. I was like, God, is this really happening to me? I mean, I just couldn't believe everything that I had went through with all the abuse and everything. And, I'm just praying and I'm like, it's storming. I was like, just show me some kind of sign. Well, the next thing you know, like I said, it was pitch dark. It was lightning outside. And, every now and then they would get a flash of light. But all of a sudden I felt myself elevating off the bed. And I was like, I'm laying there with my eyes closed and I felt myself rising up. And I'm like, okay, what is going on here? So I went to go open my eyes to see if I was actually floating above the bed. And then all of a sudden I felt that, like he was saying, that plunk, and I could hear the springs squeaking on the
No
bed.
way. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but mine was like not like an alien abduction. It was more like a spiritual calling, answering. So, because I was praying and I was crying and I was like, God, why is all this happening to me? If you're real, you really got to show me something. And next thing you
Wow.
know, I was like, yeah, I was like above the bed. And
Wow.
then too, I used to be able to levitate. I could levitate
I've
like off
heard
the
some
ground.
people say that. Lots of people say that.
Yeah, and I could move things like on the coffee table with my mind. And I was really young then. I was like in my teens.
Yeah, that
Like
was one of the bizarre things that happened to me, like almost immediately.
yeah.
Wow.
How about you, Eric?
Moving stuff and stuff like that. Well, not physically, but are you guys familiar with the concept of like a mentalist, or like the magicians that do a lot of hypnosis type of stuff? There's
Yes.
a couple that are pretty popular. There's that one guy over in England. I forgot his name. I think it's like Darren Brown, maybe.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, so when I encountered his videos, I was like, oh wow, that's exactly like what I used to do when I was like 15, 16, 17. I basically realized that I could I don't know what to exactly call it, but I would like shout at someone like in their head, like mentally, and they would
And they can hear it.
oh yeah, and they would react. And I
Yeah, me too.
me being very like I'm literally a scientist, computer science. I mean, I'm computer scientist, but still I'm
Yeah, that's
thinking
his
like
forte. I forgot
I'm
to tell everyone
I'm
that.
thinking like a scientist, and I definitely proved to myself with enough
Yeah.
experiments
Very
that I
much so.
could like shout out at someone and they would jerk around and look like, what was that, right? And I'm not sure if they were like hearing a voice, like literally English speaking, or it was just like maybe I was causing them to
Vibrational frequency.
have some kind of like alert feeling or something. I don't know what it would be, was like on their end, but
Awareness, maybe.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I've had the same thing though. That makes me feel a little bit less alone.
Yeah,
And
yeah, and
I always have this, like, I can feel or see sometimes, I don't know if it makes sense, know what happened the night before, or just pass someone, brush shoulders, and get like a quick glimpse of past and sometimes the future. And I know that sounds absolutely bat crap crazy. Somebody told me that about 7-8 years ago. I'd have been like, "Yep, freaking take her away. She's
Right.
crazy." But I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
I've learned to never say never. It's
Like
a real thing.
it's like Bruce Willis, and is that Unbreakable, the movie, right? Where he can
Yeah.
like
Yes, I forgot all
Well,
about that.
and
Yeah,
too, guys, I kind of find it funny that we had like certain abilities as young teens. Like I remember, like
I didn't even know.
somebody had something, and like if I wanted like testing the waters, and I would like implant a thought in their head that they were going to give it to me or offer it to me, and they did. And then I used to
Can you
play.
teach? I was just kidding.
No,
Yep.
I mean, but I don't have those abilities anymore. But back then I did, and like, we were poor and didn't have a whole lot, so we used to play this game. It was called I forget what it's called, heads or tails, and you take a coin and you both shake it, and you could call out whether it was odd or even, and then whoever won got the coin. Well, I mean, man, I made so much money off of that because it's like I always knew, what to call it. And I was like, and everybody was like, "You're cheating." I'm like, "How do you cheat? You don't cheat. You can't cheat."
How can you cheat
But
doing that?
right. But I mean, man, I would go home with like $10, $15 worth of coins,
Yep.
and
I didn't have anything like that as a child. I would say I was very an empath, I guess, given the definition of what it is today. But that's just crazy. I've heard, you're not the only one I've heard say that as children, there were certain, I don't know if you want to call it superpowers or whatever you want to call it, but there were children that had that and lost it as they maybe lost their innocence. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, it could be, that's obviously a very common theme of children, like having special sight or abilities or whatever. And I think it's a combination of things that work to eliminate that over time. It could be the food and water, the calcification of the pineal gland.
I'm gonna go with that. Yes.
And I think another factor is our education system is completely satanic.
Amen. Yeah, and indoctrination.
Yeah, and it's made to make you materialistic. That's it. Period. The whole.
This is for entertainment purposes only.
Oh yeah.
Of course. Go on. I mean,
that's just my opinion.
Loves me.
That's just.
But I mean, it's
my
true.
opinion.
It's true on that level.
Right. Yeah. So I, as we, of course, as we're born and day one, I'm pretty sure we have an equal balance of our left and right brain abilities. The intuitive and the critical thinking minds, and a lot of these abilities are, I think, natural and inherent in our the right side of the brain. And the right and left hemispheres. Coincidentally, if you watch the Wizard of Oz movie,
behind the scenes.
It is now get this. This is going to be weird. So if you watch, as soon as Dorothy gets to the land of Oz, it is the Wicked Witch of the which one dies? The
West.
The West.
The West.
Yeah, one of them dies. One of them dies, and I believe it actually correlates to the half of our brain that they tried to kill.
Good call. That's the other thing I forgot to tell you guys. He literally can decode everything that has been put out there for our entertainment viewing.
It's just that is a hobby of mine, is I decode stuff.
Nicholson 1969 or 8, sorry. Also, and you guys are both amazing like that. You're about the only other person I saw that can do it like
I forgot about that guy. Was he?
I love him.
He came back.
He came back momentarily. He had, I mean, he was targeted big time.
Okay.
He was a TI, hardcore TI. One podcast, he said he learned to never, ever, ever talk about Morgellons because when that happened, that target. I'm like, I'm not afraid. I'm targeted every day. But he came back and did about 3-4 months ago. He did like one quick short one. I haven't seen him since. He was amazing. Kind of like what you were showing, like what I looked at. And by the way, Eric the Watcher has a YouTube channel, and he's got some other social media platforms that we will be sharing with you. But if you do go to Eric the Watcher YouTube channel, I believe he's going to be posting some things on there. He's had different ones, and him and his sister, like you said, had some that they also do together. What was that channel?
Well, that channel is just called Eric and Val, as in Valerie.
VAL.
Yeah, if you search for Eric and Val, they only took down a couple of the videos that we made. I think the one about black goo they took down.
I had two of those taken down.
and that one was an absolute killer. We loved that.
We need to do it again, then put that one right back up.
It's on it's on Odyssey and something else. Yeah, Wizard of Oz. It's obviously about the introduction of a false reality. In Wizard of Oz, ounces, right? The master of money, the master of the gold, and the Emerald City, the gold city, green, the money, and follow the gold brick road, and it leads to the money system. It's all about money, in that movie.
Wow.
I would have never pieced that. That is amazing. Actually.
Yeah, and it's all about enslaving us into their system. Yeah, man. What
Real
else?
quick,
What else?
guys, I just want to say hello to the comments that are up here right now. To the commenters, we have Hot, and I can't say it, Chick, Hot Chick.
Oh my gosh.
We're gonna go with that. We got Kim Blanchard and Connie M. And hello to you guys. I hope you all are doing well this weekend. Now it's going to be the weekend, and for us it's spring break. I got to work. Eric's probably got to work. Candy's probably got to work because she's bike week, right?
Yeah.
So, but I want to say hi to you guys,
just-
and also anyone else watching. If you'd like to throw some comments out here for Eric or Candy or even myself, but I know you don't want to hear me talk because that's what I do too much of sometimes. But if you'd like to throw some comments out, we would like to answer them for you if we can. So
yeah, I just wanted to say too, guys, if y'all see me yawning, it's because I have been at my booth all day long. So I'm like,
U.S. Dwarves. So
Yeah.
okay, so Hot Chicks at U.S. Dwarves. Is that a channel?
I don't know.
I mean, this person is faithful. I love them to death because they're always present. And they actually have beautiful advice and words. Always leaving wonderful comments on my videos. But so Hottie, is that another channel for you, or do you want us to talk about dwarves? Just asking. From the U.S. So all right. So sorry, guys. Off on a tangent again. So. Anything else, though, Eric, that you could or have decoded recently that would stun everyone? Well, probably they all would, but any in particular off your?
Well, I suppose I can give like a brief intro to one of the main reasons that me and my sister started our Eric and Val YouTube channel, and that was for us to decode the show Severance. I won't ruin the show for you right now. I think it really is so good that everyone should go watch it. If only for discovering the symbolism in it. And so maybe go watch the show and then go watch my breakdown. Me and my sister actually do a episode by episode breakdown, and some of the things I discover are truly mind exploding. Like your jaw will be open. You will pause the video and share it with everyone. It's that mind blowing.
Okay, I'm on pins and needles. I gotta go watch this.
Yeah, and it's so good that I will not even. I'm not even gonna. Definitely not gonna. I'm not gonna ruin it for you at all.
I can't wait because I have nothing to do this weekend besides work and sit in my car surveillancing. So I'm gonna watch little flips there too.
Yeah. Well, maybe I will tell you like one tiny decode okay, so it's kind of in the realm of the Matrix, where there's another layer, of a false reality, and basically it's the story of someone like trying to wake up from that reality and even realize it's too good. I won't even. I definitely won't ruin it for you. So go watch Severance. I really even kind of hate recommending it.
Severance? Did you say that's what it's called?
Yeah, it's Severance. Yep.
Severance.
And I kind of cringe to recommend it because I think it's only on Apple TV or Apple Plus or whatever they call theirs, and I don't have any of that. Those accounts. My sister does, so we use her account to watch it. So yeah, that was
a movie.
Eric, you can hack into these things. I know you can. Come on now.
I'm a true wizard of Silicon Valley. I can recreate Facebook from scratch and all the kind of things that people.
I know who my new best
do
friend
out there. So that was the most recent big thing I decoded. I mean, I also really like decoding a lot of stuff from the 80s, pop culture, like I said earlier in the talk here, is I really do see that as a time of a great wave of evil influence on the earth. So there was a lot that went into movies and a lot of music.
Go lay down.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds, I mean, I honestly, I gotta see this. And Hot Chick, Hottie, just actually totally pointed out something that I should have seen. Oz's Munchkins, which is us folks.
Oh,
Makes
okay.
complete sense now, right?
It totally makes
And-
that could be, yeah, because they're portrayed as like kind of stupid and just
naive and blind.
Yeah,
And also, they just subbed to your channel, Eric. So
thank you. And
you will appreciate them. They are amazing, aren't they?
And they've got their like little cliques, the they got like the lollipop gang or whatever, right? like they kind of organize themselves into little groups like we do.
Yeah, though, yeah. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory just came to mind almost immediately because I bet you could decode that in 2.3 seconds, huh?
Oh my gosh, so much. Yeah.
I want to hear the chitty chitty bang bang decoding.
Oh, that one too. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Wait, is that a movie? I've heard that before.
It's an older one. You gotta do that.
Oh my gosh,
okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah, for real. Like, if anyone should decode that, I know you can.
Yeah.
Bang, bang. That's a good one. For real. Because that's got all sorts of blatantly obvious in it. Now, back then I probably wouldn't have seen it, but yeah, for real.
In the arena of decoding reality, there's this thing called legalese, and it is something to decode as well. Now, I say that because the law topic, the whole natural law topic sounds very boring, but it is actually the most powerful information, I would say maybe worldly information, that we can know. So that's another topic that, I actually started the Eric the Watcher channel with that. And I have one long presentation there. It's probably like 2 hours. And that is, it's like, I basically point out the fact that we are living in the Matrix right now, right here, literally. That's
what I just read last night about. He writes some amazing stuff too. He is right.
Yeah, and I'll just give like a quick preview to the concept. So how the what is it? The Constitution, one of the amendments says that we're secure in our persons, right? It doesn't say that we as men and women shall be secure. Okay, so that's just a hint of what to go look into. And also, I will give you an interesting hint here of it all goes to the definition of person in the legal system, and it is not me or you. It's not a man or a woman. It's a
that's what they use for the symbolism and the one that's holding the weights. So what do you call that? I have it on my business card. Oh gosh.
Talking about one of the Roman goddesses.
That's holding justice that you see in the legal system. It's the woman that's holding the
the scale.
Disposable weighted justice.
Yeah, I forgot who that is.
I can't. I mean, it's like literally on the tip of my tongue, but because my brain is farting right now and is gassy, I guess it's just going to happen that way. So,
well,
my granddaughter said she's going to call them fluffies because that's the way they feel.
I have a fluffy. Sorry.
Well, when I say that we're living in the Matrix, I mean that as literal as you can get.
Very much so.
For example, take a look at your checkbook. And go take a magnifying, not even that. Go take a magnifying glass to the line that you sign your name. Say you're writing a check to someone, and there's a what you think is a line that you're signing your name on in the bottom right corner. That's not a line. That is a sentence that is in microprint that's repeating a phrase over and over and over again.
Just like the dollar bills, your birth certificates, your social security cards, all of that, right?
Lots of microprints all over the place.
Yes.
But this line on your check, in your checkbook, in your kitchen drawer, where you never touch it because we don't use checks anymore. But if you go take a magnifying glass, that it'll say authorized representative only, or something like that. So, in other words,
I'm gonna do that. I'll be right back.
the man or woman, yeah, go get your checkbook.
I'm gonna get one for us.
So you, the man or woman, in the case of your bank account, your checking account, you are an agent, and you are an agent for your person, which is nothing but a legal fiction, or you could consider it's like a child corporation of the state corporation. So we've got the phrase child corporation, and in this case, it's very appropriate to the relationship between the state corporation and your person, your first name, last name, it's like your silver thimble or silver dog on the Monopoly game board. It's your avatar in this false reality system that is, the Matrix, but it's in reality too. And if you have that knowledge and you watch the Matrix movie again, you'll see it is exactly telling the story of the false reality that we can't see. We're born into a prison that we can't see or taste or touch, a prison for your mind, right? Because they're telling us that is you on your ID. That is you on your birth certificate. No, that is literally not true.
That's why your mom doesn't sign. It says her name on your birth certificate, right?
Well,
she's like a beneficiary. She's signing over on your birth certificate.
When your mother signs on the application for the birth certificate at the hospital, she is signing as informant, and that means to turn over something to someone else, whether that be a physical, whether that be something physical or some information. And so so you are turned over, and they make a someone just said a straw man, and that is an appropriate term in this case. The term straw man is not something that like truthers made up. It actually goes back to the very, very early days of commerce, in which some trade for some goods could be conducted through a strawman corporation, which was only a temporary transmitting utility for commercial activity. For example, like you're just signing over a truckload of wheat to this company, and then they're going to take it and sell it to some other corporation. So these corporations were just strawmen in that case, just temporary holding facilities, corporate businesses that took temporary ownership. So that's what the Matrix movies are actually about. You could consider them to be having this spiritual meaning as well, and yes, that is true. But more profitable. It's more profitable to know that is talking about us in this reality here and now, because we can swallow that red pill in this reality here and now and do as the Bible says, and that is to come out of her, my people, so that you are not partakers of her sins or plagues, the judgments of the evil system. And that is talking about here and now. So we can wake up to this truth of we are not the first name, last name entity. That is a registered corporation. And you can actually go and look up your, I say your, because it's not, you don't own it, your social security number. Or is it the numbers? I think it's another number that's on your birth certificate.
It's the red ones, right?
Yep. You can go look to see who has been buying and selling.
Yeah, whether it be the Queen of England
You.
or the U.S. of O.
Yeah, I looked up my. Oh, what do
You
you
guys
got
gotta
there?
see this. Okay, you guys see that fine print where you sign?
Oh, you did it.
Yeah, he ain't lying, guys. Look at that. That's where
Wait,
you
You say
sign.
authorized signature? Is that what it
not
says?
a line. That is not a line. He
Yeah,
ain't lying.
it's something like
Wow.
authorized agent only, repeating over and over and over again.
Yes,
So-
that's exactly.
So there's no better way to show someone in physical reality. Look at this. You are signing as agent. You are an agent, exactly
Not a
as
person for
portrayed in
you.
the Matrix movies.
Mm.
When Neo is in his training grounds, you know, when he first gets onto their ship and they're teaching him some things, and he's walking with Morpheus, and he's walking on the sidewalk, and there's all these people walking by him. That's our world. That's where we live today, and that's, of course, it's come to be very accelerated and exaggerated, where it's obvious that everyone is just so caught up in the Matrix that they're fighting to protect it, as Morpheus says, and they're not coming out of it, and they're partaking of of the plagues, you know. And I think we all know what just came into our mind when I said that.
Spikes on it by chance? A little round ball with spikes?
Maybe something like that, yeah. And if you didn't come out of her in Revelation, of course, this is just a reference to the great whore, which is the whole church and Pope and Catholic Church system that's riding the beast, the Roman Empire, and what are the daughters of the whore? Well, all of the lesser churches that have, you know, they look the same. They take your money, they tell you lies, and then they ask you to come back next week.
That is so true.
So that's my rant. I probably just talked too long.
No. I mean, I could not have said that better myself. And see, the thing with the social security numbers and the birth certificate, stuff like that, I've known. But you just taught me something new tonight with the check thing. I'm like, wait, what? That is so true. And we are literally, like you said, quite literally living in the Matrix. It is very real.
Yep.
In every literal way you can imagine. And so is alien abduction, but we all know it's fallen, right? To some respects, it's the same thing. We're all singing the same song, right? Angels and demons kind of song. Yeah. So it's just so much. But Candy, would you like to add anything tonight on any level? Or you can contribute a burp if you want. I don't even care. But I just love you. So
I know you do. I'm just like really getting into like just listening to him. I'm like, oh my gosh.
I told you he's amazing.
Yeah.
Eric, I want to thank you for joining us and hoping that you and your sister, especially too, will come back.
When I think about all the visions and all the things that happened to me all my life, and I'm like,
yeah, there's other people like that.
Wow, yeah.
There's so many people out here. Hi, Mr. Avatar.
Well,
that's one of my besties there too.
I can tell you a funny story about a really lame vision that I had at the end of 2019. When I first heard of, I'll just say the CV, you know, the thing that is a pretty big topic. When I first heard anything about it, I had a vision of needing to go run out and stock up on toilet paper.
Everyone did.
And it didn't hit, and that didn't hit the news until days later. But it's the very second I heard about this thing that I won't name, I just saw insanity about people running out of toilet paper and trying to get it. So that's my really funny lame. That's my super. That's my super lame most recent vision.
I'm sorry, but I mean, you know what? At least you foresaw. You knew it was coming. But All I could think is like, this is what you guys are thinking of, what you're gonna wipe your buttocks with. I mean, have you ever heard of leaves or anything like that? Would be the last thing on my mind, but it wasn't the first thing on everyone's mind.
Isn't that
Almost.
isn't that
I mean,
weird?
I'm
Wasn't that a
sorry, and I
strange
know
thing?
it's important, but I mean, I'm just like, my butt's the last thing I'm gonna worry about.
But
So,
you
I
know
mean,
what? I look at that even deeper because I've scoped toilet paper before. And Lisa
yeah,
can
buddy.
tell you, I am like, man,
We
I
know
even
it's
went
in
out.
it.
I went and
Yeah,
bought
my
a
nose,
I went and bought a garden sprayer, and I was like trying to get away from toilet paper. I was spraying it off and patting it dry
That's a
because I don't
boudet.
like.
What do you call that? A boudet?
And then I even found bamboo toilet paper, so I buy bamboo toilet paper. Okay,
He's got me hooked on bamboo paper towels, which Walgreens sold. So I never could find the bamboo toilet paper, but Candy
Oh my
did send
gosh.
me a roll for my birthday.
yeah, I got. Oh, and listen to this at the bin store last week, right? Oh, Lisa, I found for $1 bamboo Q-tips. I was like, hello.
And I know when she says bamboo, you guys are thinking of the hard stuff. Okay, I know this, but it's not like that. It's just like paper, but made out of bamboo. And if
Yeah,
I didn't even know they made
that's
Q-tips,
what I'm
I'm
thinking
afraid
of.
of cotton. Period. After what
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
and what I've seen and experienced, I don't like cotton in anything. But here,
Well, you know how I love that bin store, but when I found those bamboo Q-tips, I was like, oh, score.
pretty sticking in my nose, my ears, just walking around to see if anyone notices. That's how I roll. So I'm just kidding. I'm not actually though, kind of that person. So
So Eric, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I was telling her, you got to like go in your area, go on Google Maps, and bin stores near me. And oh my gosh, so what happens
to
is
find one.
each day that goes by, like they restock on Thursdays, but like on Fridays the highest price. Saturday it comes down $1 or $2. Some of them are closed on Sunday, some not. So each day as the week goes on, the prices come down. And so my bin store that I go to on Friday, everything's $7. It doesn't matter what it is. It's all brand new stuff. So
You know,
then
you need to tell him. I'll tell him. The reason she's saying this, Eric, she makes soap products,
Okay.
ointments, and amazing things that help with the toxins and whatnot
Okay.
that are coming from all around. And I mean, she goes to this bin. Like, I got to tell this story, Candy, because he needs to know. Like, when she talks about these bin stores, it's like God is like, she doesn't like raise her prices. She charges whatever it takes to make it. She's not making profit, right? So like she needs beeswax, and she'll find a man selling not beeswax but honey, and then she'll be like, "Hey, you got any beeswax?" And he's like, "Oh, here, I don't need it," or whatever, just charge a little bit. And she goes to these bin stores for like whatever she's needing, and like what she's looking for, she'll find it in bulk, like an odd things like jars and lids and just things that nobody would think would be their need or be looking for. Let me just God speaks to her and shows her these things at these stores, and then she sends them to people in care packages.
I found a 1 pound bag of golden seal powdered root last week, right? For $4. When I looked it up on the website, it was $393.
That stuff is
I got it for $4, and I was like, wow.
And then she puts her TLC into the products, and she makes them, and she gifts other people, which we just recently had a fundraiser awareness for Morgellons. And we made just enough money that we can start sending care packages out because the shipping is expensive. But that's the story behind that. I wanted to make sure he knew that.
Okay, my sister's really into this kind of stuff too. I think it's kind of her dream to have her own apothecary where she's both sourcing good stuff, but also making some stuff herself. And she's actually ramping up right now to go into production on some things. So yeah, you guys, we should all chat. You should all chat with my sisters. I think you'd like to talk to her.
Candy's a girl too, yeah, for sure. I can't wait to meet your sister.
What I was saying about those bin stores, I found turmeric and neem shampoo, a tube of it for $1. It's brand new. I used it tonight for the first time, and I'm like, man, that feels pretty good.
And if I used it, I'd be orange right now.
So I don't need any shampoo. Look at my head.
Eric, you need a lot of shampoo. Come on now.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm just saying at the bin stores, what it is it's like overstock, and it's Amazon returns. And so each day,
Interesting.
like I said, it's all brand new stuff.
Speaking of
So
Amazon,
yeah, it's brand new
sorry.
stuff. And each day the price goes down until they restock again, then the price goes up. And then as the week goes on, and oh
It
my
hits you
gosh,
just right.
I
I
didn't know about
found
these
like
places.
I found like
Yeah.
essential oils there for like $1, $2, and that was like $50, you know?
I've heard a lot of other people talk about it. I've never been to one myself, but I hear that, because people are sending returns back right and left, and I guess the sellers, the original sellers in which the product originated from, it doesn't go back to them. It goes to, I guess, they have some sort of agreement with the seller, and the returns go back to this, basically through the mail. And every big city, which I'm not in a big city, but it goes to a bulk distribution center area where you can buy it by the pallets or the pound. Or my nephew did that for Christmas one year. I guess he got paid $100 for an entire pallet of returns. Some of it was junk, but I mean, he probably got $600 worth of stuff. And I don't know. Candy's got some of the best luck though, and it's not just that; it's just everything. And it's because I think her heart is big and pure, and she's so giving and loving. And we got to remember, like, what we give comes back to us. It's a vibrational frequency in every level.
Yeah.
And just like you say, when you're thinking about something, like when you were little or whatever, and or her, like you could make it would happen, right? It still works that way. We just got to get in touch with the frequency in which we were once in tune with, and I think surrounding ourselves with people like ourselves, as well as what we put out, creates the effect on others as well.
Yep. And I think it's good to be conscious of that. I don't know if we can call it a power or ability, whatever, but I think knowing that whether it be something good or bad, whatever we think of will come to be. It's it's kind of like knowing how sharp a knife is. You better respect it and be careful with how you wield such a tool. And I think on the topic of decoding, this is the Ghostbusters movie. I don't know if it was the first one or the second one when the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man came. Remember it was like who was it, Zool, or that lady was like, choose, and they're like yeah, whatever we think will
occur,
will manifest and destroy us. So just a very strange thing to show in a movie scene, right? They had no way of they had no real reason to portray it like that.
No reason for that. They got these little tall tale signs everywhere now.
Yeah.
Now that I'm aware, it's like, holy crap! I mean, they're telling us because the Bible says though. Satan has to tell you what he's doing, right?
Yeah, since truth is stranger than fiction, it's a great source material. All you have to do is look at how the world really is, and it's like, whoa, and I mean, really look, don't like read school textbooks. I mean, actually look at how the world is actually
working. Yeah. Not indoctrination, education, not my indoctrination.
Mr. Avatar says, what keeps us in the matrix is the Wi-Fi, smart meter, artificial frequencies. We need to ban all over the air Wi-Fi in order to not resonate with the artificial world. Yeah, very good point. I actually live out in right next to Green Bank, West Virginia. And Green Bank, West Virginia has a tiny shred of internet fame for being a federally mandated quiet zone.
No Wi-Fi.
No Wi-Fi, no cell phones, no cell phone towers here. So when I go drive around and leave this region and go into a city, for example, Charlotte's pretty close by. I've driven to there back and forth a couple times since moving here. And since I'm living in this environment, which is way lower on EMF than most people, when I get to a city, I can like I can like feel the ringing pressure on my brain. Just
Mr. Avatar is going through that big time right now. He's a good friend of mine, and
oh yeah,
I know what he's talking about, and it's some severe. So
yeah, I'm like super
bad.
sensitive to this kind of stuff because I'm just like a
super
like
sensitive
an
individual.
I'm just what's it called
Hyper.
Alanis Morissette made a documentary about it. You know, a hypersensitive person or extra
Hypersensitive on all levels.
I'm like that. I can smells, sounds. If there's
a vibration, you can feel it.
Yep. If there's like a dump truck running idle 3 blocks away, it's bothering me. Because
I literally wake up in the mornings and I can feel when the train's coming from miles away, or if there's someone doing road construction miles away, I can feel it, hear it, sense it, everything. And
So,
Mr. Avatar is like that. And actually, you and him would get along really good because he actually reminds me. You guys remind me of each other a lot. So
hey, let's get him in here. Let's get him in here next time.
I've tried. Did you hear that, Mr. Avatar? I have tried, but he is being attacked hard.
Okay.
Very hard. Yeah. And I've been there, but he is in an area where it is just severe for him. And he's taught me how to do the Faraday cages and you know, and all, because I do believe you're right. The areas in which you're in is going to determine the intensity of the effects in which you'll receive.
Yeah,
and we're human.
and on that note, electricity is something that no one can truly explain. We can monkey around with machinery and kind of exploit the effect of magnetism and electricity, but neither of them can be explained. And I actually believe that it is some kind of or it can act as some kind of a portal for the spirit world and this physical world.
Yes.
Because I have had so many times, and of course this gets into the arena of electronic interference and the whole TI thing, being attacked through all kinds of devices and machines and computers. And I have had dozens of times in my life had a certain electrical device fail exactly when I needed it not to, for like a certain
podcast is that.
and I was on a Discord, the app, the chat app Discord.
I'm on Discord. Yeah.
I used to be until they deleted my server. It kind of pissed me off, so I got off of there. Anyway, I was on a Discord voice chat one day, and apparently I was just on fire because everyone went total quiet to the point where I thought I was disconnected, but I wasn't. Everyone was just happily listening to me for like 15 minutes.
I mean, they would too.
There was like 160 people in there, so I thought I got disconnected because it was that quiet.
Wow, I didn't know you'd done. So you have done this before. I'm like, you're really good.
Well, I just, someone asked the right question, and whoa, there went a whole row of things to just.
I'm just glad you're doing it here too, because
fire off.
Yeah, keep on firing, please, because our viewers here and our channel subscribers, this is what we are all needing to learn about, and we learn from each other. And you are an amazingly intuitive person that you know a lot about this. I can tell.
Thank you. Yeah, I have fun learning, and then I really have fun showing others what I've learned. It's like one of my greatest joys.
Do you actually have Morgellons symptoms?
I don't. No. I think I encountered Lisa on, I don't know, it was like just a recommended video, a suggestion on I think from probably watching a Richard Bruce video. And then when I clicked over to your video, I can't even remember which one. It was only like 6 weeks ago, but I was like, oh my God, she's just like me, like just totally awake to everything and just like unfiltered.
I'm just kidding, because I'm a dork.
That's what I said when we were waiting for her to come on. I was like, oh my God, I got to find her. She's just like me.
Yeah. Yep. And Kenny said the same thing. I'm like, oh yeah, we're just, and it's not that we're the same. It's that we have the same
We're aware.
spirit in us. We're just temples for the same vibration, God, creator, whatever you want to call it. We can't even conceive of it. So of course we're all going to be, singing the same song. We're
We're on the same frequency. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, I was
But
talking
I
about
mean,
electronic.
honestly,
I was
though, how
talking
many
about.
others will? What do you
I
think?
was talking about electronic interference stuff and electricity being some portal for demons to travel through or whatever. And if you watch, here's another very interesting thing that everyone listening to this must watch. It's just too good. Is basically just in general the works of David Lynch. David Lynch is most popular in pop culture for his Twin Peaks through the 90s. I think it was the more like the middle 90s, early 90s, 93, something like that. But yeah, Twin Peaks, and the movie he's probably most notable for is Mulholland Drive. Very strange movie.
Yeah. Okay, I know what that is. Yeah.
Yep. Very very interesting guy. Anyway, all of his works from when he was in film school decades ago, all the way until the Twin Peaks revival that happened around 2017, he's got a single common theme through all of his stuff, and that is electricity. And it is basically what I'm talking about, how it's like the transmitting vehicle for like spirit entities to travel through. There's a lot of direct and indirect references to that being the case. And even in one very verbose instance in Twin Peaks, I think, the third season, the revival of it, there's this very strange scene in which a plant is talking and it says electricity, like very strange. And then later in that third season, the lead character actually gets kind of teleported through an electrical outlet from what we might consider as like a purgatory type realm, or like a heavenly spirit realm, back down into the physical realm of Earth. He makes that transference through an electrical outlet.
Yeah.
That kind of reminds me of that old movie, The Fly, where he was trying to.
Yeah.
I need to watch that again.
No, yeah, she's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
And you know what
Yeah.
Mr. Avatar just said? Because I love him. On that note, he's like, mold is a conductive conscious being, and he's not lying. It is.
Yep.
Mold is.
Yep. Very interesting.
So yeah, though, I mean that's why with the black goo, which in my opinion is a mold, a form of mold. Everything from the ancient and old past, all muddled and garbled.
Well, you know, too, Lisa, just to remind you, remember when I told you about I wasn't able to cry for like 10 years and I was down on my hands and knees and I was being electrocuted? And I'm like, my arm, my whole body was just like, I was being like electrically zapped in my arm. And so I'm like begging God, I'm like, okay, if you're done with me, take me now, you know?
Yep.
And I mean, and so when I got up the next day, I had just gobs of fibers just sticking out of my arm.
Wow.
So that's what was happening. It was the fibers was like trying to push their way out, and it was just electrocuting my entire body. I was almost convulsing. It was so bad.
Like antennas or something.
Yeah, it was bad.
I think that's what a lot of us Morgellons, I mean, okay, I'm going to just be honest. I think the whole world has what is not called Morgellons. It is a full entity in itself. It is something that there's no way in hell it can't affect every single person on this planet. Some are showing symptoms, some are not. But the thing is, are you guys getting like short-term memory loss? You having problems remembering things? I mean, do you see the numbers 1111? Do you see 333? Do you see your birthday numbers on multiple or different levels? Do you look at a receipt, see the same numbers repetitive and synchronicity in that?
Mine's 1234.
This is an ongoing entire world affliction.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can say.
I have two numbers that are plaguing me, and I'm a 1111 guy.
That's
and
me in 3333.
and also 911.
Yeah.
That one too. Yes.
I went through an entire summer
Candy, you
where
too.
I saw 911. Like I haven't usually had an alarm to wake up for many years.
But
and
you do at that time, huh?
well, no. Well, what I'm saying is like it just seems like I coincidentally woke up around that time, and then it's like when I would go and make my way into the kitchen and think to look at the clock. Oh, it's 9/11. It just so happens it was like half of every day I would see 9/11, and it's just, and it's not because I had an alarm clock. It was just like I wake up, I think to look at, and it just continues to this day.
Candy dreamed about 9/11, so you got to hear this.
Yeah. Wow.
That's weird that you said that, because that
That's what she said, right? Yeah.
No, I didn't dream about it. It was actual daytime wide awake visions.
That's right. Yeah.
But my numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, or 12, 34, or 134, or 234. It's always 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row.
Yeah. Seems like that's a commonality between a lot of us.
I wanted to say something else that came into my head with the whole electricity as being like a spiritual manifestation in some way. And look at the Star Wars and the Sith and their electricity coming out of their fingers. That's like the attack of the evil side, right? The electricity.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And then also I've got a pretty elaborate story related to more on the electricity stuff that it's pretty interesting. Let me tell you here. I mean, do we have like a time limit here?
No, we just go.
Okay. So this will be kind of interesting. So this takes me back to when I was 17 and I was in high school, and my dad had just gotten a really good career opportunity to be I think it was his first CFO position, and so he took it. This is when we were all living in the Milwaukee area in Wisconsin, and so they basically left me. Oh no, I had just graduated high school. Yeah, and so they left me with that house that we were all in at the time as a just out of high school graduate. So I had a whole house to myself for like a year and a half. And we had a lot of fun LAN parties, people bringing their computers over and gaming because I'm such a nerd. But
me too.
Anyway, it became pretty well known that I was basically having my own house and people could just come over all the time. It was pretty fun. And I even got 2 younger friends of mine that were still going to my high school to come basically move in with me, even though they were still in high school. And one of them was, I'll just say, and this was a Christian high school, but one of my friends was like rather troubled. I would say the only reason he was at that Christian high school was for kind of like I don't know, like rehabilitation type of reasons. But we really connected on a bunch of fronts and we became friends. We both played guitar and like the same kind of video games and stuff like that, normal stuff. And he moved in, but not until he moved in did I find out about his very rocky family tree and past, in which there are a huge number of witches, warlocks, Freemasons, like all the things in his immediate family. And so it turns out that now looking back, I see that he had entities attached to him, negative things. And there's a couple interesting things that happened with him that were related to this electronic interference. And one of the first things was he although he was out of town, so I think that something like came off of him and like stayed in our house. I mean some like evil spirit in some way. Me and another friend, now this was 1999 summer, cell phones were just kind of like really starting to come out. Like I had just gotten the first digital cell phone, the first phone that actually sounded like really nice and clear. I remember it was Primeco, that later became Verizon. But me and one of my other friends that was also moving into the house, he got the same exact phone. So we had the same phone on the same service. And this is what happened. It's so strange. So like almost no one had our phone numbers yet. So we were up in my room and I was showing this other friend of mine that had the cell phone the same as mine. I was showing him something on my computer, and this cell phone of mine rang, and I went over and I told this friend of mine, it's the downstairs. Like we had a phone number hard line like downstairs, and we had another phone for the upstairs. And I knew the phone numbers, and I was like, I told my friend, the downstairs phone line is calling my cell phone, and there's no one else. No one else is home, because that friend that had the witches and warlocks in his family, he was like in Indiana visiting his mom or something like that. So there's no one downstairs, no one using the single hardline phone that was on that phone number. And so, weird stuff had been happening. So when I told my friend that had the same phone, I'm like, it's downstairs calling my cell phone. We both looked at each other, and we're like, of course it is. Of course it is. So he's like, answer it. I'm like, oh no. Okay, I'm going to answer it. And as soon as I touched the phone, it stopped ringing. Okay. Wow. And we went downstairs right away to confirm. I mean, we ran down. No. I mean, we didn't have a cordless phone. It was literally just a single classic black plastic, very basic hardwired phone. And there was no one else at all there.
Wow. So
some entity came off of this evil, I'll call him the evil friend. And so some entity,
it's not a doppelganger for you,
came off of him and knew my new phone number, which I hardly even did, and called my phone. And now get this isn't even okay. It gets exponentially more weird. Okay. So me and my other cell phone friend, we're like, of course that happened. We were like basically not even shocked at that point. But I think he called his mom. We told some people. It was very interesting, right? But then this other same cell phone friend of mine, he stayed there that night, and he had a woodworking job that he had to get up very early to go to. He woke up and went out to his car to go to his job, and his phone he had left in the car, like all of last night and through the night. And so he gets to his phone, and then he ran back into the house to wake me up at like 7 a.m. And he's like, dude, look at this. Look at my call log. And it was the downstairs phone line tried to call his phone as well at the same minute. So I was holding his phone in this hand, my phone in this hand, with both of the call logs up, missed call, whatever it was, like 6:34 p.m. And then on my phone, missed call, 6:34 p.m. from the same downstairs phone line that no one had access to. Yeah. And so we throughout the next couple months had so many things with electronic interference in that house. Another thing is I was working an office job, and I was actually this happened when I quit that job, and I was training my replacement. And so there was like a 1 or 2 week period of me training my replacement. And during the first whole week or week and a half of training this guy, it's almost like something was having fun,
Messing with you?
causing disruption in me training this guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Mischief. Big
like
time.
every time I would touch the mouse to show him how to do something on the computer, the electricity for that whole part of the office building would the fuse would blow, the circuit would break, and that had never
Candy sound familiar?
and that had never happened. I didn't even know like that could happen. I mean, it's this big
Yeah.
office building, right? And so that happened so often that they had to buy me a battery backup system for my computer just so we wouldn't like lose random work or whatever. And then giving him a tour of the back part of this building, which it was a book printing plant. It was a really big plant. I was giving him a tour on his first or second day, and we were walking down a storage area where they stored millions of magazines and books, and down the center there was all these fluorescent lights, the big tube lights, and whenever I would get underneath, it would flicker or go out, and then we kept
energy from it.
Yeah, and then we kept walking, and then that one would go back on behind me, and then now the one above me is flickering, and it literally.
You just described classic Morgellons, people like us. That's draining batteries and flickering. And
yeah, and
it's an energetic effect for sure.
And it happened the whole way down the 100-foot plus long.
That is a commonality with us.
Okay.
It's crazy. Well, it's crazy hearing you say this because I was sitting here in my house one day, and my cell phone started ringing. And I'm like the only one home. So I pick up my cell phone to see who's calling, and it's the house phone.
No way.
Yeah, and I'm
calling her cell phone.
Come on.
Okay, that's really weird. So I told my husband later on, I was like, you know what? I was the only one home. It's just me. And the cell phone started ringing. I looked, and it had the house number on there. And I'm like,
no, I never heard anyone say this before.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Yeah. And I was like,
you ever had a CB come back with your own voice and answering yourself?
No, but I have something like that happened on
imagine
on a
that,
machine.
I mean, the phones are like right here in the same room together. Nobody's home. It's just me.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the caller ID on my cell phone, and it says home. And I'm like, the hell is this?
It really freaked you out if your own voice answered, because that's what happened to me.
So
what happened, Eric?
So I'll continue on. There's one or two more things that happened with this. Oh yeah, right. There's like two more main things that happened with this being disrupted during this training my replacement, and one of them was whenever the electricity in my office did go out. Not only did the electricity go out, but what came along with it was an extreme jolting pain that was on my right temple. Okay, so I'd be like trying to show him something, and boom, touch the mouse, and boom, jolting pain, and boom, the whole electricity would go out, right? And this happened probably a dozen times, and it was a big event because people are all using desktop computers around me, and everyone's computers are going out, so everyone's getting pissed off. And I realized that it is an absolute correlation with whenever I touch the mouse and keyboard, boop, everything goes off. I get this jolting pain. And so they buy me and some others some battery backups. So in case Eric touches the keyboard again, then everyone doesn't lose their spreadsheets,
Yeah.
Because this was
sorry about that.
Because this was 1999, and everyone's just Microsoft Office, spreadsheets and docs all day, and you cannot just like lose a doc without, what I mean? People are losing work over this.
It's definitely a bye Felicia moment.
So anyway, these battery backups had a beep when they got activated. So the electricity would go out, and the battery backup would go beep, and it would start supplying the power, and everything worked. So get this, I gave my replacement some kind of long task. I knew it would take him like half hour, something like that. And I went down into a kind of a friend of mine, an office. It was like maybe like 4 or 5 cubicles down, and we just like to just shooting the shit in the middle of the day, and then all of a sudden, bow! I get that extreme pain in my temple, and coinciding at the exact same moment, beep! Sure enough, the electricity went out, and I get that same thing, and I wasn't even there this time. And
it wasn't even your fault.
well, I still had that coinciding with extreme. It's like someone jabbed me with something, and
that's what it feels like, exactly.
And my friend who I was talking with in her office down the way, I was like 50, 60 feet away. She said, "Whoa, what is that?" She because when I winced with the pain, she said my whole temple area turned really red just all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just like something I'm sensing or feeling. It's something that was actually interacting with me, like, biophysically.
Yeah.
And then maybe the next day or so, but still in this 2-week period of me basically being like a Sith Lord of electricity. I remember I was walking by one of the announcement speakers. This is like a classic 1990s office building. There's like announcement speakers like every 50
every
feet
few
or whatever.
hallways.
Yeah. And I walked past one of them, and it went all staticky and growly. It was growling and static, like combined.
Sounds like
it was
Morgellons growls to me
Oh,
when
okay.
you're
No,
describing.
yeah. Wow. Yeah. Honestly, I don't know a whole lot about the whole.
Sounds like static
Morgellons.
and growls mixed together, like especially in audio.
Yep, that is exactly what it was, and it came over this announcement speaker, which was not connected to any radio or anything like that. It was literally like an old school microphone, like in an office
type things.
Yeah.
That's wow.
So now later in life, when I kind of get hooked on the works of David Lynch and of course many other movies and TV shows, pop culture references to electricity being this portal, I'm like, yeah, that is very true. And then now we circle back all the way to what one of the commenters said about Wi-Fi keeping us in the
that's
in the
Mr.
grid.
Avatar. He is not lying.
So what that is doing is, yes, it's and it could possibly be even the reference in the Bible about how the gate, what do they say, the gateways to hell will not prevail against this. Yeah, the gateways to hell will not prevail against the same, right? So I see these it could be talking about cell phone towers. Who's made that theory before,
if you
right?
think about it, that actually kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah,
that is a gateway. I mean, 100%. There's a lot of gateways.
And
about it.
And coincidentally, I like that word, it just coincidentally, Jordan Maxwell uses it a lot too. Coincidentally, this cell phone, which is just your typical black rectangle, looks like everyone else's cell phone, right?
No.
Well, okay, but the other side, but
mine's blue.
So we're all walking around. We're all walking around with a black monolith. Hello, 2001: A Space Odyssey. We're all walking around with a black monolith in our pockets, and see, so we're all walking around with these scrying mirrors, or black mirrors in our pockets.
True story. Smoke screen.
Yeah. So, and of course, these are electricity and black mirrors. So it's almost
Wi-Fi.
like and Wi-Fi. So these are almost like a triple whammy. There's electricity, radiant everything. Yeah. So that's why scrying mirror, exactly. So yeah, electricity, man. If you can stay away from it at all at any time for any reason, if you don't need electricity, turn it off. If you don't need your cell phone, turn it off. You know that feeling we all get when we're camping and it's just,
Yeah,
oh,
you can
so
feel it.
peaceful. Oh, it's so peaceful. It's just something special about camping and laying on the ground.
It's because you don't
Yeah.
have that.
Yeah, it's because you're not swimming in Satan's sea of electricity.
You're also grounded. Your body is grounded if you are sleeping on the ground, to be exact.
Yep.
And the one thing, I think I had mentioned this to Lisa before. They got smart meters in my neighborhood, and I was like, no. I went before the county commission. I was like, I don't want it. Oh, well, you don't have to have it. This was before they even got them. I was like, can I get that in writing, please? And they gave it to me in writing. I posted it on my analog meter, and they're like, well, we have to charge you extra every month
Yep.
for because we have to come out there. I'm like, well, you know what? I'll pay it. So it cost me $13 a month to not have a smart meter.
Okay. You got off pretty easy. I was paying about $30 extra a month when I was living in Phoenix to have an analog meter. But I heard that some people were paying up to $300 per month. And of course, that's just to dissuade you from doing it, because almost no one's going to pay $300 a month
Well,
to have a meter
and here's
reader
the
come
funny
out.
part. Well, a lot of times they don't even come out and read it. They estimate it. And then last month, I got a call from the guy asking me to call him and tell him what my
Oh,
meter
come on.
said. Yeah,
Oh,
what my
come
meter
on.
said, so he wouldn't have to come out here.
Ow.
And I was like, okay, are you going to take $13 off my bill this month?
Wow.
You know? I'm
Paying
like,
for the privilege of servicing yourself.
right? Oh, God.
Yep.
Unbelievable. Hey, listen, I got to get off of here because I had a long day. I got a long weekend. Like, wow.
Yeah, I have a surveillance I got to do in the morning, but I'll hang for a few more minutes. And
Well, and
Candy,
Eric,
thank you
it
so
was
much,
so-
because I know
it
you
was
have
so
lots
nice to meet
do.
you, Eric. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I cannot believe how much we have in common.
Yeah, you too. I am so happy to meet you. I mean, let's obviously we're going to talk more in the future, because
Yeah.
it's going to be fun to talk to you and get to know
I
you.
knew
Thank
she
you
would.
so
I knew
much.
she'd get you for sure. Candy is
Yeah,
one
and
of
thank you
those.
so much for coming on here with us tonight, because you know what? It matters. In the end, it all matters, and we just have to just do everything we can to start getting people to come out and start speaking up and showing your faces and, not
right.
being like,
Yep.
oh
And
my
I just want to encourage anyone that's listening to this, if you hear or see someone on YouTube and you're like, yeah, they'd be cool to hang out with, I'd like to go email them, message them. That's what I just did to Lisa a couple days ago, and here I am.
And here he is.
that. And
You guys,
like
again,
like
please subscribe to his
well,
channel.
like I was telling you earlier, my daughter was like, okay, I'm driving to California. Is any of your Morgellons friends you want to meet along the way? I was like, yeah, gotta go see Lisa.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
and
it's so
and
out
then,
of the blue.
hey,
And I mean,
and
it
you
was
got
awesome.
it. You got to hear the story about the peppermint oil the night I met her. That
Okay.
was so hilarious. But oh my gosh, crazy. But anyway,
you
we
gotta
have a
tell
lot
him.
of stories.
We're waiting. We're on
Now?
the deals.
Now?
If
Okay.
you gotta go, that's fine. Otherwise, yeah.
No. But this is
quick.
really cool. Okay, I use like a lot of essential oils and natural stuff, but peppermint oil because we have respiratory issues from this Morgellons. We get fibers in our lungs. We constantly gag on them. So I found peppermint oil, and I just put my pinky on the end of it, and I put a little bit up my nose. And I everywhere I go, it's with me. I've got it in my pocket all the time. But
Okay.
so I get to Lisa's that night, and I was like, oh God, Lisa. I was like, I left my peppermint oil in my daughter's car. We got to go get some. I cannot survive without it. And so we we went to one of the health food stores. I think it was Trader Joe's or something. And we get there, they had no essential oils, and I was like, what? It's Trader Joe's, It's like, so then we found this other one I had never been to called Sprouts, and it was like probably 6:45. We were like 5 minutes away. And we're like, okay, y'all have essential oils? Yes. You have peppermint? Yes. Okay, don't close. We're on the way. So we rush over there. And so we get there. And immediately when we walk in the door, and she had never really like reached out like this publicly about stuff, but it was kind of funny because we were together. And so the sales rep from the department, when we got there, he's like, "Oh, you guys called." He's like, "You wanted the peppermint oil, right?" And they're like, "Yeah." He's like, "So what are y'all doing with it?" So Lisa just blurts right out, "It's for Morgellons." He's like, "Oh, I've heard of that. Me and my wife have been researching it."
Yeah.
And next thing you know, it's like he was like asking us questions and everything. And he's like, "Oh, what's your YouTube channel? How can I get hold of y'all?
Yep.
Are you on Facebook?" And we left there, and Lisa was like, "Oh my gosh." She's like, "I can't believe." Yeah, it was crazy amazing. But
Cool.
he didn't have it, but he and his wife both had been researching it.
Yep.
And so, but if we would have not said anything, we just, you cannot keep silent about things. And like I said, I was just so proud of her because she just blurted it right out there. And she's like, "I can't believe that actually happened." I was
Yep.
like, "Yeah, this is good." But anyway, so that's the peppermint oil story. But
Oh, Lisa, I think you're muted.
I was
Okay.
because I said a few choice words earlier. Sorry.
so
Talking to
that was
the kiddos.
well, and
Oh, okay.
so that was very, very amazing that night for her because
It was definitely an amazing night, and especially since I'd already been taken away for, just having this and been like locked up in
and
an
then
insane asylum before.
then
I was just like, "Hey,
yeah,
by the way, you're not going to
and
shut me up."
but the funny
because-"
part is we're at the checkout, trying to go up there to check out to pay for it. And the guy actually runs over to the register. He's like, "Ladies, wait, wait, wait. What was that YouTube channel again?"
Yep.
How can
Yeah.
it's
It's
so
funny
funny.
too. I mean, ever since, you know, just having the voice, period, it's been a slow process. But like Candy says, you just keep on until you find the one person that listens. And when I was stuck on the Southwest Airlines disaster over Christmas, okay? So I was one of those that was stranded like 18 hours in a city that I did not belong and still had 18 hours to go to get to my destination, in which I had to rent a car and drive. Neither here nor there, but I cannot tell you how many people and opportunities that provided when that many people stuck at an airport or waiting in line for a rental car to just blast the awakening far and wide,
Yeah.
the matrix far and wide, and on every level. I took every opportunity, and I mean, you would be amazed how many people are actually just teetering on the edge of awakening,
Yep.
and
Yep.
all they need is that one little extra push,
Yep. Yep.
So,
That makes
Oh.
me think of another very appropriate moment in the Matrix movie, the first one, where Morpheus says, "Consider the fact that in the past 6 months we've freed more minds than in the past 6 years." It was
sorry.
it was because there was an acceleration of people waking up, and then what happened? The evil controllers of the world system went on the offensive. They started to attack because there was this acceleration of people actually waking up to the truth.
Bible
Now,
talks about that.
Yeah, and Lisa can tell you, my doctors actually listen to me. I have got like the best doctors in this world, but not hardly anybody with Morgellons can actually say that. But I've got 3 doctors that actually they listen to me. They pay attention, they want to know. And I'm like, I'm so blessed, so blessed because I didn't shut up. Okay. So yeah, did I have bad apples? Yep. Lots of them, but I never stopped. So then I finally found them.
Cat, his name is Eric the Watcher. Sorry, I've got people asking his name.
Oh yeah, I see. And I only have a couple videos on my YouTube channel, and I'm
He's
not
gonna
like
get there. He's got more to add.
I'm not like
Just told
I'm
you,
not
put you
like
on
a
the
big
spot.
popular talking head or anything, but I'm a very unique kind of weird dude. Like
That's what we do.
I basically didn't talk in school until I don't know, like until really like high school kind of. I just
love it.
I was just watching and listening and absorbing everything.
You were taking
Watcher
in the
of the law.
information. That's how we all do. That's what we do. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I have trouble taking action unless I have enough information, and so I guess that's
That's good.
these kind of
That's a
traits.
precautionary good thing.
yeah, these
I
kind
have
of traits
problems
have
just not.
like pushed me into being a software engineer like I am. You know, I have to know what I'm doing, and it has to be very precise. I mean, this is like extreme for me though. I mean, I was I think it was in second grade, and I got to the last day of school before I opened my mouth and said anything all school year. I was so shy and just like I so did not want to be there, honestly. that I was so excited that it was the last day of school that I said something, and then my desk mate next to me, back in the 90s we had like joined desks, or I don't know if they still do that, but yeah, my desk
Yep.
mate was this
Two at
girl.
a, especially in science, two at a time. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and the last day of school, I said something, and she said, "Oh, you can talk." I still remember her saying that to me. I'm like, yeah. So
That's pretty awesome. That's a big testimony too.
yeah, I've been listening and watching for. Well, I'm 41 right now, so I mean, still, it seemed about half my life.
That's
And
what we
yeah,
do. We listen and we watch, and we are aware of our surroundings at all times. It seems like, right?
yep.
I'm a people watcher. I don't know about you, but
All
it's
right.
not
Well,
because I'm
hey,
being nosy. It's because I learned. That's how I learned everything, by just watching, or like feelings. I guess I'm always aware of people's feelings, and you can tell by facial expression, body language, movement, their demeanors, and just the levels and octaves of their voice. And people just took more time to do those little things, listen, feel, and be intuitive about those. It's not like it's like a magic trick or anything, right? But can you imagine how much better this world would be on every
hey, I
level?
love you. I love you, but I gotta go.
Gotcha.
All right.
okay.
Hey, I was gonna just, since we were on this topic, Eric, you don't have to listen. Candy, I know you already know, but Ephesians 6:12, remember? As it states, for we struggle not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers and against the authorities, against the powers of the dark world, and the dark web, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places. Which, when we were talking about it, that's the air, that's your frequencies,
In high
that's your
places. Yep.
ether, that's your heavenly places. That's all these things. That's your evil. Satan is the ruler and the leader of those things here
Yep.
on earth, and we do struggle with them. And like Mr. Avatar was talking, we were all talking, when we're near those things, we feel that attack on the vibrational and the frequency level. There's so much biblically that could be coordinated with everything we're experiencing and going through, in my opinion. So,
and what in nature
high.
and what in nature comes down from the high places, from the high sky? Electricity.
Aliens. Just kidding.
And
That too. I
aliens.
mean, we
Yeah.
live in an electric universe. I mean,
Yeah.
we do.
And we've got the phrase
Yeah.
high voltage, right?
Yeah, exactly. I
From
mean,
the high
and
places,
Hey, and I was thinking about another.
from the Prince of
Remember
Power
that
of the
kids
Air.
show, Lisa, years ago, the electric company? We're gonna turn you on. We're
oh
gonna give
yeah,
you the
The
power.
electric company.
something. Welcome to the electric company. Yeah,
Taking
much
that
as I
down to
remember
note
that,
too.
It was like a
wow,
little
yeah.
kids show. It was
Oh,
like, we're gonna turn you on. We're gonna give you the power. We're the electric company.
Oh my
I don't know
gosh,
who turned me on, but I wish they'd knock that shot off.
that's weird. I'm gonna
Right?
look
That
that
was
up.
weird. Yeah, that was weird.
Eric, again, nice to meet you. I really gotta go. I got a big weekend left.
Cool. Okay, catch you later.
Good luck, Candy. I will see you soon.
All right,
So,
bye.
bye.
All right,
Bye.
bye.
So, Eric, I want to thank you again too for showing up and having the courage to deal with me. and sometimes we act goofy and don't mean to talk over. If that ever happens, I will apologize. So, with that said, when we were talking about Satan being the ruler and the leader and the principalities of evil in the air, we also discussed the aliens. Do you also feel like, when we are speaking of these things, that it could possibly be more like the fallen? Or do you think it's a hybrid offspring? Or do you think that there's in fact a difference between aliens, demons, so to speak?
Oh man. My gut feeling is that there is so much variety in the spirit realm that it's hard to even theorize. Much like here in the physical, we have caterpillars and crows and giraffes, and I imagine that the spirit world is probably even more diverse and vast in that sense.
Especially with the eons and centuries that's been before us.
Exactly.
Who knows?
Yeah. Now, of course, certainly there is it's seemingly a certain, like an incursion of certain types of entities into this realm. And I don't know, I kind of at this point theorize that these grays are possibly just something like something like a robot that possibly these these fallen angels have either created, and then they're like living through them.
Yeah, well, vicariously living through nanotechnology or clones of, just, if that makes sense, you know what I'm saying, to that nature.
Exactly.
That's what I feel too. We don't know what they came up with, what concepts that were, invented millennia before we were ever here.
Now I will. That does make me think about one of my more recent encounters, and I mean that in the fullest sense, and I'll explain it now. So I was living in Milwaukee. Probably this happened about 2 or 2.5 years ago. Actually, it was right when the whole C thing started.
The spiky little round thing.
That CV thing, yeah.
So
as I was living there around that time, and I was between a whole bunch of things. I was between where I was living, so I was actually just temporarily, just a few weeks, sleeping in a rapper friend's basement, a Christian rapper friend's basement. It was like a finished basement. I was just sleeping down there a few weeks, and I was spitting fire at his house. I mean, I wasn't rapping with him. I was dropping all the kinds of truth on him and his other roommates, and their minds were just exploding. So I was waking them up rapidly to like everything, right? And I went to bed one night. I had my little mattress on the floor, and there was a staircase, and my little mattress was within view of that staircase. And I woke up, and I looked straight at the staircase, and there was just enough light to see that there was a short one and a tall one. And when I say one, I mean, yes, a full-blown freaking gray.
Oh, wow. You actually saw it.
Yes. So and it was like almost like you're classically
like the full manifestation of it, because I've seen like kind of clearish partial manifestations. Does that make sense?
No, yeah. Oh, and I've heard of the clear ones too. Yeah.
That's what I've seen.
Oh, wow. I heard that they're, forgot. Well, I'll just continue on with what I saw. So, and I've heard other people say that they kind of like work in pairs sometimes as some kind of like scientific expedition or whatever.
Yes.
And I
An
remember
assistant and a main, right?
It was something where, yeah, and they were some kind of combination of, no, they were grayish, but they were also having, I don't know, it was like some kind of like hybrid reptile / gray kind of things. Maybe even more, even more reptilian. But there was definitely the taller, skinnier one, and the short one was very short. So
like
that makes
big,
yeah, like 4 feet tall.
I can show you a video of it.
Oh my gosh. So when I see the movie with who was that, Christopher Walken from the 90s, what was that movie when he showed his he was being abducted like over and over. And there was the short ones and then the tall, skinny ones in that movie. I forgot the name of it. something
I know
like
what you're talking. The movie was
it's something like Contact. No, that's not it.
First Contact.
I don't
Wasn't it
know.
First Contact?
No, but it's based on a book. But then Christopher Walken played in the movie
I'm
version,
gonna look this up.
and what is portrayed in that movie is essentially what I directly encountered, and I attribute
Communion.
it, and I communion, yes, and I attribute it to me, um, being able to so rapidly wake up these two Christian guys to so many truths. It's almost like alarms were going off in the Matrix. Like, there's some real truth spreading hardcore here. Go see what's going on. That's what looking back now,
I wish
think
I need to rewatch that. Yeah.
that is a creepy movie. Almost, I get creeped out at a few things, very few things, and that's one of the things is that movie.
That I mean, I can't even believe you brought that up. I literally had forgotten about that, and that is
Man, that movie,
predictive programming at its finest.
That movie nailed it because there was
Yeah.
and one of them had some kind of a device like a tablet, like a little computer or something.
iPad, or yes, I remember that.
And at this point, I honestly can't remember which one it was. It might have been the tall one. And then all that really happened though is I saw them. I woke up and I was like honestly I was frozen in fear, which is a common thing that happens. But then when I started to kind of like take control over my mind, and I was like realizing that I was able to start moving.
Yeah.
Because I've had enough weird experiences now where like I can kind of break out of their freeze that they put you in. It took quite a number of experiences before I have that mental fortitude now. I mean, I still get scared shitless, but I can like push through the freeze that they put you in.
It is. There's moments of heightened scared, or the feeling of being scared, and moments of ease. Right.
Yep. And then when the peace washes over you, then you can start moving again and breathing again and thinking clearly again.
It's like a flush of it.
Yep. So that happened. I see them a few seconds of frozen, and then whoosh, I get the warm rush of being able to move again, and as soon as that happened, it's like they realized that they're whatever they do like broke, the force field broke or whatever.
Right. Whatever it is, that the electric universe hold that they had on you.
Yep. As soon as that happened, the short one actually rushed me and knocked me back down. And then I fell back. I was like back asleep. I don't even honestly know what happened after that. So I might have been down for like another hour or two until like the sun actually came up and I woke up. But I got knocked back down, out of unconscious. The I just refer to the short one as the little asshole. The little asshole, because he had the look on his face like, "Oh, you stupid human! I'm gonna knock you down." And he had the stupidest ass scowl on his face. That little piece of shit.
Yeah, that's the clear one has that too.
Oh, really? And he
just like maybe mine's just not manifested the whole entire way. I don't know. Maybe he's got little man syndrome. I don't know.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. What do they call it?
Going on in the neighborhood, man.
Yeah, but that was my most recent. That was my most recent like actual encounter. Was beginning of 2020. That was early 2020.
That is. I mean, I'm telling you, some of your experiences just like really, just kind of bring home with me. Let's put it like that. I noticed that I've got another individual in the chat, and I want to welcome them. And I can't read it like anything googly eyes. It's Parcero. Yeah, no, Parcero. Bellati 777. Right. So as they say, demons make you do things you can't control. That sounds the same when aliens control your body. I would say so. I concur. It is, to me, the alien demon thing has always been one and the same. I mean, when you're looking at scripture, and you're listening to stories of abductions or things that we've experienced, right? And then you put that together, Ezekiel's will, and other similar stories that have been told time and time again about those who from heaven to earth they came. Heaven, that's space, that's outer space. To me,
Yep.
aliens, anything not from here. They're not from here. The fallen angels were not from here. In my mind, we've always been like kind of singing the same song, just to different tune, whatever frequency you're on, maybe. I don't know, but I mean, I think that they're all one and the same. I feel like they are, but I do feel like there's a lot of hybrid offsprings, going back to millennia before. So that's just me talking out loud again, but so
Yep.
I don't know if you'd like to add any last notes. I know you're probably getting tired because you are in West Virginia, which means you are 2 hours later than me.
Yeah.
I am
Yes.
9:17 p.m. here in Sealy, Texas, and you would be almost 11:30 coming up here soon.
Yeah,
So,
and we're at 2 hours now, so we should definitely save some more of my very strange
yeah,
stories for
I
another
would
time.
like that.
I've got about 20 more stories that are just like, oh my God, mind exploding things.
I know that my viewers would love to see that. And again, guys, please go subscribe to Eric the Watcher's YouTube channel. He'll be getting more information out there, but he had him and his sister. It was Eric and Val,
Yeah.
correct? Eric and Val. That is also another YouTube channel that him and his sister, which they are like twin stars, binary systems is the only way. I mean, when you say that, that's just the first thing that comes to mind, that they are much alike. And, when one twin
Yeah.
can feel the other's pain or think the same things. So I'm even very interested in meeting her and
Yep.
along with you both, and having you here soon back on. And I know that all of my friends here, and I call them friends, they're not really viewers or subscribers, they're my friends, they're my family, and I love them, and I know that they would love to have you back as well.
Cool.
So thank you.
Let's
Thank
do it
you.
again.
And I know it was last minute, and guys, you got to give him kudos and credit because I put him on the spot like last minute. He was like, oh, you serious? And so for someone that didn't talk, he has come out of his shell, and he is a strong speaker. He is a very wise and wonderful individual, and smart. So I gotta give it to him. So thank
Thanks.
you.
Well, I'm super happy to meet you and find you and text you, and you're like, yeah, let's talk. And then we talked on the
Thank
phone for
goodness.
like forever. And then I'm like, okay,
I
we're
mean,
definitely,
truthfully, that's
we're like
how
instant friends.
I mean, you're honestly like my long lost other brother, whatever, sister. I don't know. Are you my
Yep.
sister? Just kidding.
Nope.
Maybe I'm the brother. I don't know. I'm the bro here. But I mean, the truth be told, we are a lot alike. And I know you've got to meet some of these other people like Mr. Avatar and Kat, or I forget her other names. Kat, I love you. I can't ever say it because I'm blonde. Can I rely on that one? Okay.
Yeah, let's get some more people on here.
Yeah, for real. But we
fun.
will. And the good thing about this is it's going to stay up on the YouTube channel, and there's going to get view after view after view, not just our live views. But I am grateful for our live viewers because they're my BFFs. Wow, did that sound stupid? It's okay. I'm all right with being the big dork in the crowd. I'll just shove my finger in my other nostril and be on my way. So, all right, though, for real, because I'm just picturing that, and that is not attractive. So yeah, kind of that. I'm gonna leave that there. I'm gonna park that bus right there, back that butt up, and we're just gonna say "Sayonara, beaches."
Okay.
Kidding. I don't say that ever. I just did though. So thanks again, and we will see you soon. And thank you guys all for being here with us tonight. And I hope everyone has a blessed weekend. I got to go to work first thing in the morning, so I do not want to go. All right, Eric, thanks again. You have a good one.